Have you ever shared so much of your life with someone that the boundaries between friendship and something more began to blur, without either of you daring to name it? That was Sean and me. We were best friends, brothers in everything but blood. I told him everything. Almost everything. Until one night in his hot tub, when silence hung heavier than the steam, and one glance shifted the ground beneath us. He moved closer, and I let him, knowing I shouldn't, because I was with someone else. Someone I'd promised forever to. But in that moment, forever felt like a story I wasn't sure I believed in anymore. What happened that night wasn't planned. It wasn't clean or easy, but it was real. And once it happened, there was no going back. The hardest part? I'm still not sure if it was a mistake, or the truest thing I've ever done. I'm Evan, 29, graphic designer, overthinker by nature. I've been in a relationship with Tyler for almost 4 years. We met at a friend's gallery opening, both of us pretending to be more into abstract sculpture than we really were. He was charming in a quiet, steady kind of way, the kind of man who brought flowers just because, who ironed his shirts on Sundays, who never left without kissing me goodbye. For a while, it was easy, safe. We built a life filled with routines, morning coffee and mismatched mugs, shared Spotify playlists, Sunday laundry folded to podcasts. We were good, solid. But somewhere along the line, we stopped reaching for each other. Conversations became logistical check-ins. Sex faded into memory. And I couldn't tell if I was growing up or just growing apart. Then there's Sean. Sean is the opposite of Tyler in every way. Loud where Tyler is quiet. Impulsive where Tyler is thoughtful. We met our first year of college. Me, the closeted art kid in flannel. Him, the straight frat guy who somehow ended up in Intro to Modern Dance because it fit his schedule. We became unlikely best friends. He had this way of making everyone feel like the most important person in the room. With Sean, I could exhale. I never had to explain myself. He just got me. We stayed close after college. Weekly brunches, late-night phone calls, spontaneous road trips to nowhere. People always assumed we were more than friends, but we laughed it off. He dated women. I dated men. It was never like that. Until recently. A few months ago, Tyler started pulling away. He blamed work, new project deadlines, client stress, but I could feel it. The absence, the disinterest. We stopped touching without noticing we had. I started spending more time with Sean, telling myself it was innocent. One night, he invited me over to break in his new hot tub. Bachelor luxury, he called it, with a wink. It was late summer. Humid, the air thick with that southern heat that clings to your skin like a second layer. His backyard was lit with string lights, soft and golden, like something out of a dream. The water steamed, inviting. We stripped down, climbed in, drinks in hand. The conversation started light, memories, jokes, a little bourbon-induced nostalgia. But beneath the surface, something was shifting. He looked at me longer than usual. I felt it in my chest. Tight, electric, a question forming between us that neither of us had the courage to ask. Not yet. The water wrapped around us like a second skin, bubbling softly. Sean leaned back, his arms stretched wide along the rim of the hot tub, head tilted toward the stars. The string lights reflected in the surface between us, turning the water gold. We sip bourbon and talk about nothing, old college stories, movies we hated, the weird neighbor with the 4 chihuahuas. Easy stuff, but every laugh lingered a little too long. Every glance seemed to say something it didn't dare voice. At one point, Sean shifted closer. Our knees brushed beneath the surface. It could have been an accident, but neither of us moved away. So, how's Tyler? He asked, not looking at me. I paused. Fine. Busy. We both are. Sean hummed like he didn't believe me. You happy? The question hit harder than I expected. I stared at the ripples between us. I don't know. That's not nothing, he said quietly. You used to say you were lucky to have him. I did. I admitted. And I meant it. But lately, it's like we're both just existing, next to each other. Not asterisk with asterisk each other. Sean looked at me then. Really looked at me. You deserve more than that, EV. I felt my chest tighten. Don't do that. Do what? Say things like that. Things that make me forget where the lines are. He smirked, but it didn't reach his eyes. Maybe the lines were always bullshit. I didn't answer. Couldn't. My brain was screaming. Asterisk, asterisk, you have someone. You're in a relationship. This is a line, asterisk, asterisk, but my body didn't move away. My heart didn't slow down. The silence stretched between us, thick and charged. Sean shifted again, closer now. I could feel the heat of him beneath the water. Can I tell you something? He asked. I nodded. I used to think I might be in love with you, he said, voice barely above a whisper. Back in college. But you were figuring yourself out, and I was pretending I already had. I blinked. You never said anything. I didn't want to risk losing you, and I didn't think you'd ever feel the same. I stared at him, heart hammering. Why are you telling me this now? Because you looked at me tonight the way I've always wanted you to, and if I don't say it now, I'm afraid I never will. His hand reached across the water, stopping just short of mine. He didn't touch me. He waited, and I let him wait. I should have stood up. I should have told him this was wrong. But I didn't move. I didn't say a word. Because the truth was, I did look at him differently tonight. I always thought love came in clean, clear moments. But here I was, heart divided, with no map to follow. Finally, I said, what happens if I don't pull away? He exhaled like he'd been holding his breath for years. Then everything changes. His fingers brushed mine, light as a secret. A test. I didn't pull back. Our hands intertwined beneath the surface. It was gentle, terrifying, intimate in a way I hadn't felt in years. Sean leaned in, slowly, giving me every chance to stop him. I didn't. Our lips met, soft, searching. It wasn't lust. It wasn't a joke or a drunken mistake. It was a question and an answer all at once. When we pulled apart, I opened my eyes to find his already on me. I've wanted to do that for a long time, he said. My heart ached in 1,000 different ways. I don't know what this means. I told him honestly. You don't have to. Not yet. The night didn't end with fireworks. We didn't sleep together. We just sat there, side by side, our fingers still tangled. And all I could think was, asterisk, this isn't supposed to happen. But what if it was always supposed to? Asterisk. The next morning, I woke up on Sean's couch, wrapped in a blanket that smelled like cedar and detergent. My clothes were dry from the night before, folded neatly on the coffee table. There was a note beside them, scrawled in his familiar chicken scratch handwriting. Asterisk, asterisk, coffee's on. I'll be out back. No pressure. Just come when you're ready. Asterisk, asterisk. My head throbbed, not from the bourbon, but from the storm of emotion still cracking through my chest. I sat for a long time, staring at the note, running my fingers over the edges. Everything felt fragile, breakable, like if I moved too quickly, the entire illusion would shatter. Eventually, I stepped outside. Sean was sitting on the porch swing, legs tucked beneath him, coffee mug in both hands. He looked up when he saw me, his eyes softer than I expected. Not triumphant, not expectant, just open. I sat beside him. Neither of us spoke right away. The morning air was crisp, a sharp contrast to the heavy heat of the night before. Somewhere in the distance, a lawn mower buzzed to life. The world was already spinning, even though mine had stopped. I told Tyler. I said finally. My voice cracked. This morning, before I left. Sean blinked. You did? I nodded. I couldn't lie to him. Not after last night. Not after that. What did he say? He didn't yell. He didn't cry. I swallowed. He just asked me if I loved you. Sean went still. And what did you say? I looked down at my hands. I told him I didn't know, that I've never let myself ask that question until now. He let out a breath, one hand gripping the swing's chain. That's fair. Silence stretched between us again, but it was different this time, heavier, sadder. I think I've always loved you, Sean, I said quietly, but I buried it so deep I stopped recognizing it. He turned to face me fully. Then why does it sound like you're saying goodbye? Because I don't know how to make this right. I whispered. I hurt someone I cared about. And now, nothing feels clear. Sean nodded slowly, as if he understood more than he wanted to. Do you regret it? Last night? No, I said too quickly. And that's what scares me. He gave a sad smile. I'd rather have one honest night with you than a lifetime of pretending we never had a chance. My eyes stung. You deserve more than borrowed moments. So do you, he said. I leaned my head on his shoulder, and he let me. We sat like that until the sun was high, warming our skin. No decisions, no answers, just the weight of what we'd admitted, what we'd risked, and the truth now laid bare. I hadn't just crossed a line. I'd uncovered a part of myself I wasn't ready to face. But one scene, it couldn't be unseen that it's been 3 weeks since that night in the hot tub. Tyler moved out last Friday. Quietly, gracefully. He packed his things while I was at work, left his key on the kitchen counter, and texted me a single sentence. Asterisk, asterisk. I hope you find what you're looking for. Asterisk, asterisk. I haven't answered yet, because I'm not sure what to say. Not sure what I am looking for, only that it's something I hadn't allowed myself to want before, something I hadn't thought I deserved. Sean and I have talked. A lot. Late-night conversations that start with laughter and end with silence, both of us hovering in this strange in-between space. He hasn't pushed, and I haven't promised anything. Some days, we feel like gravity, pulling towards something inevitable. Other days, we feel like strangers in the aftermath of a truth too big to carry. I keep asking myself, was it infidelity, or was it honesty in its most painful form? The truth is, I didn't plan to fall, but I also didn't fight it when I did. And maybe that's where the guilt lives, not in the act, but in the freedom I felt inside it. The way his touch reminded me of who I used to be, before I settled, before I softened the edges of myself to fit inside someone else's expectations. Loving someone doesn't always mean staying, and staying doesn't always mean love. Sean taught me that without meaning to. So did Tyler, in his own quiet way. And me? I'm still figuring it out. I haven't moved in with Sean. We're not suddenly boyfriends, playing house and pretending this all makes sense. We're just two people sitting with the weight of what might be, slowly deciding whether it's worth risking everything to try again, not from friendship this time, but from truth. Maybe it was a mistake. Maybe it was a beginning. Or maybe, just maybe, it was both. All I know is the silence between us doesn't hurt anymore. It speaks. And for the first time in a long time, I'm learning how to listen.